So Fani Willis, yeah, and you know she's a district attorney out of Fulton County out there in Atlanta. She was brought before the Georgia state legislators because they wanted to have a testimony with her about that election case, the one she had put charges on Trump. Well, boy, you remember the last time they tried to do that with her and just how she was acting up there? Oh, boy, this is a continuation. And, Fani, boy, y'all check this out.
That part of your transition team was involved in the process of interviewing people before you entered office to lead the investigation into the 2020 presidential election.
I'd like to answer that.
Go right ahead. You only take my advice sometimes anyway. Go ahead.
That's really an ignorant question. And if you understand what the word ignorant means, it means the lack of knowledge. If you recall the facts, I was already district attorney when this all came to light. So it's factually impossible.
You were district attorney when what came to light?
When Raffensperger went on Good Morning America or whatever show he went on. I was already district attorney, so what you ask is a factual impossibility. Now, I know they've gotten black folks confused and said I was running for office, saying I was going to prosecute the President of the United States, but that's what we call a lie.
Okay. I would like
Take
to...
your advice from here on out, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to read you some additional testimony. I'll try to put it on the screen.
You can read me as much as you want, but
I will. Thank you, Madam DA.
Do you want to answer?
It's a dumbass question.
I know it is, but go ahead and tell him because it occurred after she took office, but go.
I didn't know that he was going to commit a crime prior to me taking office. Like, factually, it's impossible.
Okay. Thank you. So you didn't really give me a date range, but we'll just move on here. But you did consider Governor Barnes for this role. He's testified to that previously.
And let me tell you what Governor Barnes told me. Governor Barnes told me when he was the governor, he changed the state flag from the Confederate flag. And that as a result of him changing the Confederate flag to changing the flag to make it more inclusive to all Georgians, that the Ku Klux Klan sat outside his house and that he lived under threat during that time period. He told me that him and his beautiful wife had survived that, but that he was an older gentleman now. I'm going to say that nicely. He was an older gentleman, and due to the nuts that would come out of the woodwork if I was doing this type of work, that he was not at a juncture in his life where he could take those kind of security risks. He also refused to work for $250 an hour.
I can attest to that.
Yes.
The only source of federal money you get is from grants?
To my knowledge, I don't. There may be something else. We may have some federal seizure money. If we do, it's not much. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate. If I say, oh, they gave me grant money and this federal seizure money, and you find some line item someplace that I don't know, you'll swear I was trying to lie to you when the truth is I don't know the correct answer. I'm
just trying to get to, I know you run a tight ship over there, you're proud of your work. I would assume that you would have
I'm the best DA in the Southeast. Why wouldn't I be proud of my work?
What's your annual budget?
I told you it's around $40 million, but I do not know an exact number.
And what's the approximate source of funds that you receive from the state versus the county?
Me, like every other district attorney in this state, do not receive enough funds. I told you that you all pay 20 to 25 ADAs. I don't know the exact number. I don't have it in front of me.
There are guardrails as to what we need to stay in and within. Indeed, Governor. And this is not a courtroom.
Power to make evidentiary rulings, and you don't have the power.
I have plenary power, Governor, to conduct the meeting.
No, sir,
Absolutely.
You do not have plenary power. I know you think you do and that you're above the law, but you are not. If you want to cite her for contempt,
Governor,
she is entitled to a jury trial, and I can examine you on your actions, and I can examine you on your motives. Then I will be glad to take that, as Clint Eastwood would say, make my day.
Well, we know the motives. He's on the ballot.
Governor, this is in the category of the top paid assistant district attorney that works for you at the $200,000 a year, and to Governor Barnes's point, plus benefits, let's just say that that's $250. And if I take that divided by 2,000 hours, that's about $125 an hour.
I don't understand the question.
My question is, what is the experience level of the assistant district attorney?
Are you trying to intimate that you're going to tell me who to hire and how to do my job?
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, the people, the wonderful people that you have hired, they're the top of your pay scale at $200,000 a year. What is their experience level? Because I'll let you answer that, and I'll ask my next question.
20 years practicing or
Okay.
more.
And it's your testimony that somebody with 20 years practicing or more would not be able to manage the election interference case.
You are really not listening. I said that I had people at that pay rate, and each of them was assigned a major task within my office. And no, I did not have anyone that was not assigned with a major task that I trusted to manage this case. And so I made a decision. The people of Fulton County elected me to make that decision, and I did.
Is there a reason?
Now, as you can see, Fani Willis is still with the business over there. She giving that sister girl attitude. But you know what? I actually watched the whole thing, and I was just laughing at her. You know, while I was editing some videos, But here's the thing: them folks can't stand when a black woman talk to them like that. Now you got some black people like she shouldn't be talking that way, and this and that and the third. Like, look. At this stage in the game, they need to be talked to that way, be honest with you, because like they don't have no respect for black people whatsoever. I mean, how many white prosecutors hire outside people all the time? Now, I know it was some personal thing with the Nathan Wade. Yes, I get that part of it. But how many times do they hire their personal people too? I mean, what did she actually do that other people aren't doing? What she was doing with old boy, that's her business. You know, they were trying to put out there, oh, you went to his house. Like, who cares if she went to his house? I don't care about that. The fact is she was prosecuting a case, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know why they keep messing with that woman for. Well, I mean, I know. Well, let me back up. I know why you're messing with her, because she black. That's why. But how dare she went after Trump? How dare she do that? But when she go after black folks, any day of the week, you don't say, how dare you go after black people? So if she going after black people, she putting black people in jail, then what is the difference if you violate the law? I mean, really, people don't supposed to be above the law, right? No matter who you are. Now, I said in that case that she should have just got a special prosecutor to do it and just kind of kept her hands out of it, just so she can kind of keep her hands kind of clean a little bit, because you got to be careful who you mess with, especially in this system. Right. But hey, I mean, that's what they elected her for. And really, she's not going to go anywhere unless people in Fulton County want her to go somewhere. So if she may be there for a very long time, they have to deal with her. As long as she don't do nothing, she ain't got no business. But they need to be talked to like that. You know, I really don't take an issue with it, with what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? Then what also made it funny was old boy. You know what I'm saying? The other lawyer. How he was backing her up. And trust me, I know these people. I know when they got out of that room, they went among themselves and they were calling her all kind of names. And you know what words I'm talking about? They was calling her, because they don't like black people talking to them like that at all. And especially a black woman talking to them like that. Oh, man, I can hear them now. That's why we don't want them in these positions. And, you know, you let them go to these colleges and they get educated, and now they doing, oh, trust me, I know they lost their mind, because they can't stand it. They cannot stand when a black person talk to them like that, male or female. But, you know, I say this much. Shout out to Fani Willis. She went on ahead and, you know, she felt that's the way she needed to respond to it. It is what it is. At this stage in the game, you know, playing nice with them don't get you nowhere. You could be nice. You know, they still treat you bad. You can act like Fani Willis acting with them and just feel like, hey, man, this is getting on my nerves. They still going to treat you the same way. You know, we got to get past all that respectability stuff with them, at least. Now, we want to do respectability. We can do that in our own community. But with them, no. Especially when you know you ain't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Like, what you even got me up here for? That's kind of how she acted. How you got me up here wasting my time? That's the attitude. But, you know, let me know what y'all think about Fani and her testimony. Like I said, you can watch the whole thing. Or you can just find it easily on YouTube. But, yeah, I just want to show you just some of the highlights because, she was giving them the business.